Hello there, my fellow zombie slayers. What's up? It's Robbie with Open World Games, and welcome back to State of Decay 2. I've got some brand new exclusive gameplay for you guys that I got to capture at Boston at PAX East. I got to meet also the Undead Labs team. And also, recently, the Undead Labs team, by the way, divulged a bunch of new information on their live stream. They showed off a really cool bridge fort that you may have missed as well. But they also spoke about the 3 maps and how that actually works. And then they gave some additional details also about weapons. They spoke about how long the campaign lasts and what you can expect from that. And many other brand new details that you may have missed. But in the background, what I'm going to play is the attack on the enemy faction. I promised to show this guys off to you in previous videos, and here it is. We're going to assault this enemy faction here, as we're also getting attacked by a bunch of zombies at the same time. But yeah, let's dive into this. So, what about the map? So there's going to be 3 maps, and you guys are wondering how they all interact with one another. Can you take all of your survivors to another map, or only a few of them? So this is what they said on stream. They said, when moving from map to map, you could take all of your existing survivors with you. If you return to the map previously, though, everything is going to be pretty much reset in that map space. So what this does, it basically encourages you, to migrate from map to map so you can keep your community going and allow the other previous places to basically replenish. In essence, the idea is to keep playing indefinitely if you want to. Now, the maps are all open from the beginning, but some areas are much more dangerous than others, so you may be kind of hesitant to really get out there and explore the entire world. You may take baby steps, in other words. But yeah, you can see here what's going on with attacking this faction. This faction did not put up much of a fight, but the zombies can really distract you, which, by the way, they did show on their stream, which was really cool. I'll include it in the link in the description. Check it out. They showed attacking another faction, kind of using zombies as a distraction and as a way to attack, a la like The Walking Dead. So it's kind of like using those zombies to get in there and kind of cause that distraction. So a lot of times these factions can really put up a big fight. So yes, the maps are going to be all open from the beginning. You have complete freedom in what you want to do. It's not like they're going to segment you off. But I think that freedom can come at a cost, dependent on where you actually explore and how far you go. Remember, you're limited with things like stamina. It will drain over time, and you really want to take care of everyone, so you don't want to neglect your community. Now, there's going to be a couple of towns that are clustered around each map, but you won't be seeing everything from the map perspective, so that's kind of deceiving. So like Skyrim, expect to explore, and by doing so, you'll be finding random missions and stuff of interest popping up as you go. Now, the Undead Labs team did ensure the maps are a good size as comparable to the first game. A lot of you guys are really wondering about the size of the maps, and I hear you. Now I really do understand why they kind of have 3 separate maps, because it's going to be cool rotating between them and ensuring, that resources do replenish and you can keep going and going, which sounds like a lot of fun. Especially with co-op, of course. And let's talk about a little bit about weapons. So, yes, you will be able to customize your weapons, go out into the world, grab attachments, and stuff like that. So there's going to be weapon attachments, but do they wear down like the weapons themselves? So the answer with that one is no. The weapons are the only thing that really wear down in the game, but those will jam, of course. But you can go and repair your weapons with the proper facility at your base, but you don't really have to worry about attachments, so that is really good news. And as for weapon types and the variety of weapons, they say there's a lot of weapons in this game. They don't know the direct amount, of course, but you can expect, like, for example, the AK-47 to have multiple versions out in the world, so 3 or 4 different types of AK-47s. You're not just going to keep finding the same type of AK-47, which I thought was a very cool detail. Oh crap, here comes the Juggernaut. I wish I could have had more time with the game. And that was a really good headshot But yeah, I want to show you real quick that bridge fort. So let's start this part over again when they actually enter the bridge fort here. So here we go. You can see the blood on the door. And this is really cool looking. This is the one fort I really want to find immediately. Again, if you want to watch the entire stream, check out that description below. And it sounds like Undead Labs may be starting up streams every single week. That'd be so cool if they did that. And then you can, of course, build on top here and then have some lookout points. Now, I didn't get to see it during the day. I would love to see it during the day. But here's some concept art of what kind of the bridge may look like during the daytime and what they were kind of going for here, which is pretty neat to see the concept art and then the actual reality of what they actually did end up creating. I love seeing that, you know, the concept to the actual game. All right, so moving on. A lot of you guys were wondering, what about the actual story and campaign? How long does it last? So they don't have a direct answer with this. They just said it will vary drastically from person to person. Just remember, there's 3 maps to rotate between and constantly migrate and survive, and it's going to be very dynamically driven with the actual random quests, infestation, base building, community management with a deep progression system. So basically, it's going to be up to you with what you do, and I don't think any of us are just going to go straight plowing through the story, to be honest with you. I think we're going to be tempted with the base building and other things, but what's really cool is the story can unfold in different ways depending on what map you are on. So I found that very interesting. I actually like this idea of going from map to map. It sounds very cool. And one game that did this very well in the past was Assassin's Creed 2. They had several different maps, and just personally, in my personal opinion, it felt like you were kind of exploring as you moved on like a true explorer. But anyway, also you can find cooking textbooks as you go throughout your journey to learn better cooking abilities back at the base. Now, some of you were wondering about crafting a cure. So, how do you go about doing this exactly? Do you need a doctor? What do you need? So, to craft a cure, you need a proper infirmary at the base, which is going to be an upgrade from the normal medical facility from what I understand. They showed me this at PAX East as well, and they showed me it really quick because everything was going by so fast. I only had like a certain amount of time with the game. But you'll need a blood plague sample and then also some meds. But interestingly, you do not need a doctor. I thought previously you might need a doctor to basically make this cure. So this is what you need again: a proper infirmary, the blood plague sample, and then some meds. And then you can go to your base, craft it, and then administer the cure, and you are good to go. Now, something cool I found out during their live stream is you do get certain bonuses for simply joining and participating in co-op games. It's kind of like a gift, I guess you would say, from the other players, which I think is pretty neat. Now, also, if you do flip your car over, you can flip it back over on its wheels, and then you could repair a rundown vehicle. So, don't worry, if you do get into a rough spot, you can go ahead and opt to flip your car over and, of course, repair that vehicle, which is nice to know. Now, also, when you fight the Enclave, which we did just see, let's go back to that footage. So, when you fight the Enclave here, what's really neat about that is the game kind of rewards you with really good loot. They have very good weapons, so guns. So you really want to go after these enemy enclaves, excuse me, for the ammo and the, you know, basically long-range weapons. But, of course, you're going to want to take them out silently if possible. So I'm curious to see what it's like facing off against an enemy faction at nighttime versus the daytime, if there's actually an advantage there or a disadvantage. You know, a lot of times when Undead Labs talks about the gameplay dynamics, they say don't go out nighttime. It's dangerous, but I'm curious to see if there could be a stealthy mechanic to that as well. But again, one thing they did show that I found really cool in their stream is how you can kind of lure zombies to you know, an enemy faction and use them to distract them and then get in there and kill all of them and cause absolute chaos. So you can basically have a horde surround them, and then they won't see you coming throw a grenade, throw dynamite in the whole group, which is going to be a mess of zombies, and then the enemy faction, and blow them all up with one go, which I thought was a really, really creative gameplay feature. And I could see this being especially cool in co-op. I'm just hoping that there's like huge faction battles down the road. Of course, there is going to be post-launch support. They spoke briefly about that. I'm going to do more videos about what to expect post-launch for this game. So it's good to know that they have a post-launch plan in place for State of Decay 2. But yeah, taking on this enemy faction was easy peasy for sure. I think this was one of the weaker factions that I ran into. Sometimes it's not ideal to face them at all. Maybe you can do something to make them turn on your side. You know, they did also mention previously that factions will treat you differently dependent on what leadership role you choose. So if you do choose the warlord leadership role, some factions may not take to that and be like, whoa, what's the deal? Why are you being so aggressive? Why are you taking such a stance like this? But if you choose like a sheriff or something else, they may be like, cool. Like if you choose a traitor, I imagine that would open up a lot of options with other factions down the road. So it's all dependent on what you choose. But, you know, there's advantages and disadvantages to choosing each leadership role in the game. So you got to be really mindful about what you want to do as you play State of Decay 2. Now, I did show you guys this previously. Of course, you can find the whole video in the description below. You know, you can go ahead and decide to execute one of your infected survivors, heal them or whatever. But I went into more detail about that. So see that video in the description below. And there's a lot of other little details in there too. But yeah, I'm covering State of Decay 2 here on Open World Games. I've started up a whole Discord for you guys. See that in the description below if you want to join the zombie apocalypse and prepare for State of Decay 2. It's a good time in the Discord. Hope that you guys join that. So check it out. But guys, thank you again so much for watching and for all the support on the recent State of Decay 2 videos. I hope you guys have been enjoying them. Let's take a look at that bridge fort again. This is so cool. I'm so glad that they show this off again. So as you can see, got the bridge fort. What fort would you guys, or base would you like to build? Would you like to build on kind of like a skyscraper building? In a residential zone, or this bridge fort, for example. Of course, there's going to be several different options for bases, and I cannot wait to discover all of them. And this one, I would think, would have its advantages and disadvantages, because to me, it looks like it doesn't have a lot of space for building. So I do think that could potentially be its disadvantage. And perhaps it could be kind of maybe strange to protect unless you're like 300, you know, Spartans defending the little narrow gateway into the bridge. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned here to Open World Games for more zombie apocalypse news and updates about all things State of Decay 2. Thanks, guys, and I will see you soon enough in the zombie apocalypse.